as soon as I was presented this Vedic teachings, and it was a taste there, and I wanted that taste, and we wanted to be around people practicing this because we wanted more of this taste, and we want to become a bit like you want more.
It's like we were wandering around in the desert looking for water for all these years, and suddenly we found this oasis, and it's like you don't want to leave the oasis, you know?
You make your decisions accordingly.
And here you are 20 years later and you still want more.
Yeah.
But if a person, has the same experience, but he's not quite ready, so that taste is not what he thinks he's looking for, then he'll go try to find another taste.
We've just been running up and down the steps outside of our house, so we've got a bit of a sweat on.
Oh, outside the house?
Yeah.
You can't go on the road because it's too busy and no sidewalk, so we run up and down the steps and drive to get a bit of exercise.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It's quite, it's quite large, I suppose.
What, the steps?
Much bigger than our drive.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it maybe take 30, I don't know. Takes a minute maybe to get around, I don't know. But, yeah.
It's nice to get some exercise. I know, sometimes you just feel like you're so stiff in your body and stuck, and just when I do my yoga teaching sessions like Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm always feeling so good after that, just releasing and getting rid of excess energy, and I don't know, it's something with it.
Yeah, afterwards especially.
Yeah, exactly.
With exercise.
Yeah, exactly.
Feels good.
When you get old, you'll be hanging on to that excess energy.
And not get rid of it.
You don't want to get rid of it. You want to try to get some. It turns at some point into conserving energy.
Yeah, right.
But there's another part of it. It also gives you energy.
Yeah.
Being active, it gives you energy. Going out and moving around, and you feel a bit more energetic.
Are you doing any physical like yoga, Nilabella, or are you mostly running and walking? And I know you're a lot in the outdoors, so is that enough for you, or?
We try to do some stretching, I would call it.
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, and we do some HIIT workouts, like a 20-minute HIIT workout every morning, just to kind of get the blood flowing and
the lymph moving.
Include some cardio and some strength and hopping around.
And then after that we do a stretching. But we don't do a whole lot. It's maybe 20 minutes max, which is for a yoga session wouldn't be probably classes enough.
Yeah.
But
well, that's
that's what we can do basically.
To be able to do that every morning, you got to have quite of a discipline to be able to even do that every morning,
Yeah, sometimes people ask me about, when do you get up and, your routine and, we say, we get up early in the morning. Oh, when? And you say 4:30 and they're like shocked, like, how can you get up at 4:30? Well, it's simple. You just get to bed early. If you get to bed early, you can go up early. I still get the same amount of sleep like anyone else, 8 hours or 7 hours.
You get better sleep because you sleep better in those early hours. I mean, your body rests better, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
You never.
Regularity is the key.
Mm.
Yeah.
So many people, they start something and they do it full on for, I don't know, a month or 2 months, or maybe a year, and then they just quit.
Yeah.
They just can't keep it going. Doesn't have to be so elaborate. If you make your routine too elaborate, that's another reason you probably won't do it over a long period of time. It's just too much.
Yeah.
But simple and regular every day, better for the long run.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I think, like a common denominator for you both, you Balakhilya and you Neil and Bella. Like when we were together, I just saw how you were, every day getting up the same time, doing your daily routine. Like that seems to be some kind of key to success in that, because I can see that it just that's how it's
the
meant to
whole
be.
yoga system's about regularity, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm.
Regulated this, eating, sleeping, exercising, working, whatever you're doing, regular. So
Yeah.
if you're following the system, you're going to be doing the best thing.
Yeah. And talking about that, just looking back, so obviously I don't think we've had any guests here that has that is not following the yoga system or doing meditation. That's kind of what we strive to do, is to have guests from all different walks of life, and show that wherever you are and however you are, you can apply this process to your life, and you can have your, I mean, it's just so nice to see the big variety, to see you don't stop like being who you are, and having your interests, and having your all the different things that you do, but you apply this process to your life. And I think you're quite like a good example of a bit of outside the usual norm of how people I mean, to the extent that you guys are really outdoors active, and you're traveling around a lot,
Right.
and
Yeah.
but the thing I was gonna come to was like, how was your life before you started adding meditation to your life? In terms of, now we're speaking about regularity, so I was just interested to know, like, were you always like that, or did things change when you started applying meditation to your life? Were you?
It definitely changed, but I think we were pretty regular people. Had a quite regular, that tendency to be quite regulative in our lives before meditation, but it definitely changed.
Yeah. Balakhilya's had a huge influence in our lives. When we were in Ireland many years ago, for example, we were traveling around, and I think we did classes, or Balakhilya was giving classes in about 10 different cities in Ireland. We'd go to a city for, first night would be an introduction to meditation, second night would be like a follow-up class, and then we'd go to the next city. And during the day we'd be kind of handing out flyers and stuff. And we were like, I wouldn't call us hippies, but we were pretty hipped out, into this kind of peace, love, and understanding before we started, our journey in this Bhakti yoga process. And we used to wear like baggy organic cotton clothes, fair trade. And I remember one time we did washing with Balakhilya, and he was like, look at the difference between how long it's going to take your clothes to dry and mine. And it took us about 2 days for our organic cotton clothes to dry. And Balakhilya's nice synthetic mountain gear was dried in just like a couple of hours. So that was kind of our introduction into kind of outdoor gear, which has been, a progressive journey since then. And also, we didn't really do much. I mean, we practiced yoga before we got into mantra meditation, but we didn't really do many outdoor sports. And again, Balakhilya's kind of was very influential in that, because this is generally how it is. If your friends do something, you kind of gravitate towards that and try it out. So we got into mountain biking and skiing, and that was definitely, Balakhilya's influence, not influence, but
Inspired.
yeah, we were
inspiration.
Yeah.
But now you're working as a kind of you, Bella, you're working as a guide. I mean,
it's called outdoor instructor.
Outdoor instructor. Okay.
Yeah, I work as an outdoor instructor. Yeah, it's in Scotland where we live. It's part of the curriculum in schools to have outdoor education. So I've been working for many years in the council where we live. That particular council's outdoor education. Aberdeen Council, outdoor education. So yeah, I've been working mostly with the children in schools. I would say 80% of my workload have been with the children, and then the other 20% with private groups, corporate groups, whatever. Yeah. It's been an interesting work career. Never a dull moment, always very dynamic. Things always changes, and you always work with different people.
Yeah.
You know, you guys told me long ago kind of your story of how you guys met and then what happened after that and traveling and stuff. Why don't you just run through a bit of that?
Yeah.
Because that's an interesting story.
Sure. So yeah, we met in Israel in 1999. I was staying in a kibbutz, which is, Neil, you can explain what a kibbutz is, maybe a short.
It's just kind of like a self-sufficient, non-religious, kind of socialist community where everybody kind of gets paid the same, and, you know, there's just like collective living. You know, there's like everybody gets a laundry done, and you can share cars and stuff. So we were working there as volunteers, helping in the gardens, and fellows helping with the cows. So that's where we met.
I'd been there for like a month before Neil arrived, and yeah, then he and some other British people arrived on the scene, and yeah, we just got together straight away from day one. And from then on, we traveled together because we were both kind of was really looking for like an alternative lifestyle. We were not really interested in, you know, like, or most of my friends at least back home. I'd already left like a year ahead of meeting Neil. I left Sweden, and most of my friends had gone to uni, and you know, like, and I had no interest in uni and sort of getting into the rat race of life. I was definitely looking for an alternative lifestyle, and when I met Neil, he was sort of on the same page. We were more seekers, I guess we can call it.
For sure.
Yeah. So we traveled together.
Neil was more what? Secret? No,
we were seekers.
Seekers.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Seekers. Yeah, like looking for.
I'm just curious, Bella, because I was always like, I just ran away from Sweden as fast as I as I possibly could. Was that also how you came to Israel? Just like, was that kind of a runaway from your family and your friends and just wanting change, or?
No, I was definitely not running away from my family or friends. I have a really good family, and I had, you know, healthy, good friendships. It was not that. It was just I just had an intense desire to see what else was out there. You know, like back then, you know, there was no internet in particular when I went through school. I mean, that came in the end of school, but it was not like it is now. And I was more like, you know, you went to the library and you look at the books, and I was like very interested in looking at in different countries, you know, how they were dressing and their customs and what they were eating. I had like stoked this desire from just looking in books in libraries, you know, books from other countries. So it was not a runaway. I was just super curious. We have to do something here, I think. But it's formal. I was just super curious to see what else was out there. And so when I left school, I was out. I left. Well, I went to London first. I came from a little village, small village, and I just wanted to experience the big city and multicultural city. So that's where I went first, and from there I met some people. They told me about Israel, so I went to Israel and met Neil, and then he shared this sort of same thing about, you know, just curious about what else was out there and experience other cultures and countries and meet people from all walks of life and different places. And so, yeah, that's what we did together. We traveled together for quite a number of years. And along that way,
Where'd you guys go?
we went
to Egypt
to
first.
Egypt first, because we were in Israel, so it's sort of next door. We went to Egypt.
And then we went and saved up some money and worked in London. Then went to India for 5 months. Then we went back to Sweden and worked. And we saved up. We had this trip planned to travel from Sweden all the way across to Bali, by land and boat. And then we were going to fly over to Australia. So we were saving up for this epic trip. And it was quite interesting because when you're thinking back, it's amazing how we even booked that trip. There was no internet. I mean, it was all just done with telephone. And anyways, so we were on the Trans-Siberian Express, which from Moscow to Beijing. And
Goes through Mongolia.
Yeah, through Mongolia. And it was a 6-day trip on the train. We were totally stoked. We had booked a first class cabin and, we'd read so much about it. It's like classic journey. And we were on this train, man, and it was just like such an anticlimax. It was like, it was a bummer. It didn't really live up to our expectations, you could say. And so it was, at that time, we really started to question, I remember sitting in this carriage, really nice kind of old school Russian carriage with all the old wooden panels and I mean, it was a beautiful train and experience, but like inside we were just like both so empty and kind of disheartened and miserable. We've been saving up and planning this and hyping this trip up for so long.
For me, it was a lot about, the landscape we were going through. There was a lot of tundra and a lot of steppe, and there was not much outside stimulation. It was a lot of the same. So the lack of outside stimulation, I was forced to look inside.
Yeah.
I was like, look in there. It's like, oh, holy crap! I'm empty. There's nothing in there.
You're just alone with your thoughts and your inner world. That's what you're stuck with.
Yeah, and I really started to question, like, who am I? What is life all about? What's the purpose of all this? So I think that on that journey, as Neil explained, that's sort of when we
it was a real turning point in
our
journey, you could say. And we kind of got more serious. And from then we started going to, but even before then, we were going to different meditation classes and different seminars and reading all kinds of spiritual literature. We were kind of very active looking, for...
Just anything that we came across, we were always open to and joined in and just with an open heart, just checking it out. But we never really fancied anything, it was just, go along for a bit and then off to the next thing.
Yeah, we tried lots of different meditation techniques. Like we did the Art of Living course, and we did, all these different workshops.
Mystic yoga.
Yeah, but it never really
meditation.
Stuck, as Bella said. We never really
silent meditation we tried as well. Oh, that's a difficult one.
Yeah. I mean, it was difficult. If it was difficult for you to face your thoughts and the world inside, then I guess it'd be difficult to do silent meditation, because then you're really alone with it. You don't have any. You're just
it's just kind of impossible to do, really.
Well, yeah, exactly. It is.
So as we were sorry,
didn't you guys swing through India at some point or something?
Yeah, we spent 6 months there in year 2000, and that's when we learned about Reiki healing, and we were associating with some mystic yogis, and we learned their meditation, and we also practiced the silent meditation, or tried to do the silent meditation there.
I'm just curious, Bella, when you speak about that, because so many people are so into these things right now, and it really stuck on them. Like, why do you think it didn't stuck on you? Or what made it so that it was not, you didn't feel that was...
Oh, I know exactly. While we were there practicing that, we stayed in a little cottage up in the tea fields in the mountains, at the foot of the mountains. And, there was nothing really there was nothing happening. There was nothing, all we did was meditation. Basically, 6 hours a day we did meditation. And we had this the guy that took care of the cottage. He was also cooking, so he wasn't doing that. And there was not a whole lot going on. We didn't have any other much, relating to many people, or and so while we were staying there, was sort of, we could manage doing it, and we definitely, looking back at it, it was also I think it was really big part in our, what happened next to us. It was like an ingredients in our life to, what happened later. But basically, when we left that place, and finally when we came back to London, because we went back to London, it was impossible to live that lifestyle where we were living. We were sharing a house with 2 other couples, a lot going on in the house. You share the space, you eat together, you cook in the same, and then you had to get on the tube to go to work. And, it's like, it was not practical. You couldn't practically do that sort of meditation, that lifestyle, and live in the modern world, modern life, lifestyle world.
Yeah.
So it just dropped off naturally. It was not like something we decided, we're not going to do this anymore. It's like it just dropped off.
And then what happened? So after getting back your train journey, what was the next? what took you further? What made it so that you could take the next step after having that experience of like, wow?
Well, that experience
emptiness
that experience was very purifying, because we were living a very simple life while there. We had to eat there was rules and regulations attached to this, so it was very pure living in that sense. No intoxication, no meat eating, which, we were already vegetarians, but still, it was these things that you had to live by, which was purifying. And so in that sense, that's what I mean. That was sort of an ingredient in our life that led us to the next thing.
Right.
So maybe we were a bit more open and ready, I don't know, for when we came across the Bhakti yoga process.
Did you ever get to Australia? You said you were going to go to Bali and then Australia. What happened there?
We traveled through China, and then across the border into Laos by bus, then through Laos into Thailand, and then we got to Bangkok, and we were just like, that's enough, man.
Yeah, we really
had enough of trains and planes and pickup trucks and tuk-tuks. So we flew directly to Perth, Australia. So yeah.
Yeah. And when we got there, the reason we were going there, because I have a sister, I got 2 sisters there, but one was one living there at that time. And she'd just given birth to her first child, and she didn't have anyone of our family members there. So we went there to sort of support her. So when we got there, this feeling that we talked about, being on the train and, looking inside or being empty and, start questioning, that sort of disappeared when we got to Australia, because we had a lot of things happening. It was a new place, and we had to get work, so we got trained. We had some training to do to be able to do this work that we were doing, and a lot of new people and to meet, new friends, and a lot going on. So we kind of forgot about this emptiness inside, because we were so busy with on the outside.
Well,
it was kind of more than it was for me. It was more than just an emptiness. It wasn't like we were depressed or on a bummer. It was It was like, what's the meaning of life? Why am I here? That was what it kind of boiled down to. We just, because this is not cutting it. Traveling across the world in first class is not cutting it. And I mean, we had money in the bank. We had, education. We had. We had so much going on, but still it wasn't it wasn't enough. So it was just this desire to know why we're here. What's the purpose?
Yeah, who are?
But what made you? Because what made it so that you actually dared to face that and went that direction instead of keeping busy like we, most of us are doing. We just keep busy and we never get to that point of thinking deeper or questioning, because it might be too difficult and it might be too hard, and to face it and to start maybe changing things in your life. So what made it so that you did that? So you chose that because you had the choice. If you were in Australia now and you were like, just life is busy, you're not thinking about it, and then what made it so that you?
I don't know.
I suppose we knew that spirituality was the answer, but everything we had practiced to date, we just wasn't cutting it,
It was not
it. It wasn't it. So we were just kept on looking, So in Australia, we were going along to classes, joining drum circles and hanging out with these kind of alternative kind of minded people. And
yeah.
And it was interesting, this kind of feeling kind of came back for us both, but especially for Bella. And I was looking through one of these esoteric magazines, and we saw this advert for a horse whisperer in Perth where we were living. So I was like, oh, so I called this lady up, and
the reason he did that because
why?
I was a horse girl. I grew up with horses, and that was my life growing up until I left home. So that was like really close to my heart. And then we learned healing in India. So that's why Neil kind of horse whisperer put it together. Or maybe that's what you're supposed to do, Bella. Horses, healing.
Oh,
whatever. So he kind of arranged that hookup with this lady.
So we went along and met this really down to earth kind of average looking kind of Australian housewife, And so we met her and we kind of connected, we clicked with her, and she said, so why don't you guys come out and see me at work? So we did. The next weekend we went along, and she was treating or communicating with this horse, and it was a really fascinating experience because we were stood there watching her, and the owner of the horse was stood there. And the horse, she was communicating with the horse. I mean, she's not talking with like neighs and kind of giddy up. So she just, with her mind, they're communicating, through images. They're talking to each other. And so the horse is telling her its story and she's relaying it to the owner. And we were just there listening. And it was, the horse basically was telling the story how it got transported from the east coast of Australia to the west coast, and how the driver was like, really not taking care of it, like driving really fast, and it kept injuring itself on this.
Didn't feed
it or enough or give it enough water. So it was pissed off basically with the owner. That was the kind of, it had a sore shoulder, but it was really angry with the owner is what it boiled down to.
Yeah, because why would you let me on this trip with this guy, Why couldn't I go with you,
And so the owner was there like in tears because it had happened, the horse had been transported from the east coast to the west coast, and
she moved basically. Yeah.
And so the owner was there in tears, and anyway, so she proceeded to treat the horse with these crystals and bush essences, which she kind of makes up these potions. Anyway, so it was a real eye-opening experience. I never experienced it.
And it was cool because I've been around horses my whole life, and I could see, because horses, body language. Like I've been around horses enough to kind of know when they're happy, sad, angry, whatever. Just by the way they put the head and the ears and stuff. So you could see the transformation of this horse when he got to tell his story, and somebody was listening. How he's just like, he's just like. First we got there, he was kind of like that, and then he was like. He was just so happy, and the the owner and the horse made mend, and it was like a happy ending thing, And when we left, he ran. We was walking down this long driveway, and the enclosure where the horse was in, he was just along this driveway, and he was running along as we walked down. And it was so happy that we were there, and everything got sorted out.
So afterwards, we said to this lady, "Oh wow, that was far out." Do you treat humans as well?
We do this kind of thing with
with people, because we have
something going on. We're not quite.
pretty messed up.
Something going on.
So she said, yeah, so come around to my house next week. So we went round to her house and we had a bit of a counselling session with her.
Yeah, separate, like Neil did his and I did mine. And so she's like asked, oh, what's up? And for me, I was just like, well, I said, when I look inside, I just see a blank piece of paper with a question mark on it. That's all I see. I don't know who I am. I don't know the purpose of life. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm like lost. And she said, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then we talked a little bit different things. But that was basically the gist of it. I just said, I'm just empty. And I don't know. And Neil said what he said.
Which is pretty much the same thing.
And and she said, okay, so get back to me in a week's time and we'll see what comes about. And just a few days later, she called us and she was really excited, remember?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, you have to come to my house. Come on. It's really, as she said, I do these kind of things with people all the time. And it's usually kind of dark. It's not a very, I don't know, good future is like dark, dense. But with you, I can see there's a light, there's something real fantastic going on. So yeah, we went around and she had written down what the message is. I don't know how it works. And for me, she said, you're very scientifically minded. Is that what?
Yeah.
And Neil and I looked at ourselves like, me scientific? I'm like the biggest dodo in the house, like not scientific at all. And she said, you're going to study the greatest science. You're going to live in a community and you're going to study the greatest science. And you're going to be practicing yoga and meditation. And you're going to be dancing. And she said, she stood up and said, I can feel you dancing. And you're going to take what you've learned and you're going to go back to your roots. I don't know what that means, my roots, like where you're from. And you're going to share what you learned. That's the things I remember she said. And to Neil, what did she say to you?
It was pretty much the same thing.
Not exactly.
But the thing, we didn't even keep these letters. And I mean,
so
it was
we can't remember exactly, but we remember certain things. But
yeah.
Neil was also going to study, practice yoga and meditation. And he was going to travel the world spreading God's unconditional love. And at that time, we were not, God was just like one of those, we had a very what's it called? What's the word? We were atheists, we didn't believe in God. Like, what's God? Like, whatever, we were had been influenced by impersonalism. So we're like, oh, whatever, what is this? So we didn't really take it seriously, basically. But anyways, she gave us this flower bush essences to take under the tongue. So we did that. And then like a few days later, we picked up a flyer, free meditation. And of course, yeah, cool. Free, anything is free. It's good meditation, great. So we went along and it was this Bhakti yoga that was presented, the chanting, kirtan, and
Garanga breathing.
And we loved
meditation.
It.
Yeah.
And Tadat Manadas, who was, what's it called, giving the class, he also spoke, and we can't really remember what he said, but we really liked it. Wherever it was, we really liked it. And yeah, so we went back for more. And they were having 2 gatherings a week, so we attended the 2 gatherings a week. And I think the 3rd time we came along, they were playing chant, our spiritual master chants. And when I heard our spiritual master chant for the first time, I knew this is what I've been looking for. And I was like to the guy, to Tadat Maharaj, who's this? This, I have to have this, And we were very eager to know more and hear more.
Yeah.
And then Tadat Maharaj was playing lectures. We started to hear so we were chanting. We started to chant, and then he started to play lectures. So we were learning about the philosophy, and we were just like
lapping it up.
Yeah, this is
Couldn't get enough.
This is what we've been looking. We knew this is what we've been looking for.
So that was
the journey up to that point.
Yeah. The start of our adventure in mantra meditation and Bhakti yoga system. Is pretty cool how it all worked out.
I met you guys in California. So how did you get to California?
You just disappeared for a second.
Yeah, we had to leave Australia because of the visa was up. We didn't want to leave because we were so happy what we had found in the association we had there with Tadat Manadas and his family. So we were trying to stay, but we couldn't. So we asked him, is it other people that follow this and do this? And because we just want to be around this, chanting and learning more about the teachings, the Vedic teachings. So he gave us a list of people in different countries that were practicing Bhakti yoga. There was disciples of our spiritual master. So we left, we went to New Zealand after Australia, and we were staying there for some time and hooked up with people there. They were following this process, and we learned a lot from them, and we had a great time. We're staying in a caravan on a beach in Whangamata, and we were hooking up every day with those guys there, chanting with them. And
it was funny because in Perth, the style was kind of like you'd sit on the floor and it'd be candles and mellow and incense, and it'd be like this super mellow
ambient
kirtans. And we got to New Zealand. They said, "Oh, why don't you come around Saturday night chant?" So we went round, and we were kind of expecting the same thing. And there was like a set of
bongos,
big set of bongos and electric guitar and bass guitar.
It was like upbeat and people up dancing. We were like, whoa, right on. We were like, woo.
So we just kind of grooved on it. They moved the couches, and we just kind of. So it was a total different experience of kirtan. Everywhere you go, it's a different experience. But there, for us, it was kind of young people, and it was
younger,
just. So it was just like, digging that kind of vibe,
scene.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you after your travels now, you've experienced a lot of different, things as you've been traveling around, how different people apply this to their lives and different styles and different.
It's like different flavors of ice cream everywhere you go.
So the horse whisperer was right. When you started dancing, she saw that before.
Yeah.
And from New Zealand, we went. Sorry.
Go ahead.
From New Zealand, we went to an ashram, which was an organic farm, and the big island of Hawaii. And that's kind of where we really kind of dove in and started to study the philosophy, because it was like a continuous retreat. Every day we'd have a morning program, and then during the day we'd be out working in the farm. We all had these Walkmans with tape players back in those days. We'd be listening to lectures of the philosophy, and we'd have these rip-roaring kirtans like every night, pretty much. And it'd invite
Bhagavad Gita classes.
Bhagavad Gita
and our spiritual masters lectures
on a Friday.
Every day.
Yeah.
It's like we were soaked in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we didn't have we were just there, we didn't have to go. We were looked after, we didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So that was really a wonderful place to sort of if you're in the right mind, you can really progress spiritually quite rapidly.
I remember you said that it was quite strict with the rules and what to do and how to do things, and like, because I guess most of us, we're not used to being raised spiritually. Our parents may raise us, but they don't know how to, like, the spiritual etiquette, or how to help us in sort of progress in that way. So think most of us, we need someone, some point in our journey, like including me. I've really had people who've made it like clear and given me like being a bit strict and giving me help to
direction.
Just like and kind of like a spiritual education, spiritual upbringing. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
We often say this is like, that's where we grew up,
That's where we grew up,
the Garuda's farm.
And just being in that environment, we really learned how to be regular. Like other times, that's like, I don't know, 20 years ago or whatever. It's been many years of lived in different places and different circumstances and ups and downs of life, and that's been like a refuge for us to hold on to that experience, and that have helped us keep going and being, because we learned to be regulative. We learned, I don't know, so many things, and that's really have carried us through the rest of our time so far.
What was there ever some like friction at that place? Like, did you ever experience some?
There's always going to be frictions when you are living with other people. That's normal in that sense. But there's nothing that couldn't be overcome. When you're practicing spiritual life, generally, we're learning, we're trying to develop spiritually. So humility, patience, so these better qualities, even though minute, coming maybe through a little bit. And so people are a bit more, I don't know, what's the word, Neil? Easier in a way to sort of forgive, if something, you have conflict with somebody, and then, it's just, because you're practicing this, because you're in this spiritual journey, you're practicing humility, you're practicing patience, you practice forgiveness. So it's like an opportunity to practice it in real, not just hearing about it. Okay, so you have a conflict, and now you have to forgive. You have to let go. So this was frictions, but that was kind of a good challenge, and you gotta take the lower position and whatever.
Just how about between you guys? Because when you meet, when anyone meets you, you just seem so like, I don't know, just in sync and understanding toward each other and serving and helping each other. And I think that's just like, first of all, that's a wonderful example for anyone who meets you to see the way that you relate to each other. But I was just wondering, did you ever have any struggles in that way in your relationship? Like, as you have just always naturally understood each other.
We were very fortunate. We just kind of clicked, When we met each other in Israel, it was just like we
always known each other.
Yeah, long lost friends. Finally, that's what it felt like, finally got together. But no, I don't know, just somehow it works.
We haven't struggled. No, we never struggled in a relationship. We
rarely argue, and I mean,
you can disagree, but I mean, who is not going to disagree? But you don't have to argue about it, and if we get a bit hot-headed, like it just, you get a bit hot-headed for a few minutes, and then it just goes away, and we don't even think about it anymore. It's just I don't know. And I think it's mostly Neil. He's the better part. He's the, what's it called? There's a saying. He's trying to think. I can't think about it. But he's the better part. He's very mellow and very soft-hearted. So I'm lucky.
So at what time in your journey, where does Balakhilya come into play? Like, where did you meet Neil and Balakhilya? Where did you,
You're asking us about Balakhilya?
I don't know. I'm asking both, I guess. That's good.
I met him in California, in Sacramento, in, I don't remember, 2004, I think.
Yeah, I was.
And we were getting ready to go to an annual called a rainbow gathering, where a lot of people gather in a national forest for just freedom of spirit is what they describe it. Like, just go there and camp for a month and just do our thing. And we used to always go there and had a camp and had meditation classes and distributed little booklets from our spiritual master and had a regular program of the Bhakti yoga practice and constant chanting of the mantras basically all day and into the nights. And so we invited you guys to go if you wanted to go.
And of course
said,
we wanted to.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And it just so happened it was in California that year. Every year it changes from one state to another state, but that year it was in California. So, yeah, we went there and lived together for 3 weeks, and, we all had a good time. And that was where we met.
Yeah.
What's interesting, too, is, you guys changed a lot. Because I remember at that time I'd be out walking, because it was in a mountainous area of California in the Modoc National Forest. And so I'd be out walking in the morning doing my meditation, and I'd meet you guys. You guys had been out for a walk, but there was a hill where I'd see you is where this hill went up. And I'd been down across a creek and up a high place and coming back down and back through the forest. And you guys were sitting on a wooden fence. And
That's right.
What are you guys doing, Why are you here? Oh, well, Bella doesn't want to go up that hill. So you get to that hill and stop, and I saw you there 2 or 3 days in a row. And then, from that point, I don't want to go up a hill, being an outdoor instructor and climbing mountains and rock climbing and, all the mountain sports in spades. And, it was like, yeah, things can change. Your attitude, your way to see things, and everything can just be completely the opposite of how it used to be. And
yeah.
so it was good. And then I think you guys went with us up to Toronto.
Yeah.
There was a Canadian retreat after that in Toronto.
Yeah.
And so we went up there, and that was another immersion, so to speak. The thing that is really critical in really making spiritual progress is association.
Yeah.
If you're just trying to do something out on your own, maybe you got all the process, you got the techniques, you got the books, you got the philosophy, you even listening to lectures. But with no association, it's a lot harder and a lot less likely that you're going to be successful. But you guys just arranged it personally to have that association. From the introduction in Perth to going to New Zealand, another immersion, to the Big Island, another immersion, then to California, then to Toronto. I mean, it was just keeping close to the fire, and that works magic, that works amazing magic. I had that in my life, I met my spiritual master and, our spiritual master for all of us. And after 1 week of just going and hearing him speak every night, we started an ashram. I mean, I was living in a suitable place with my friend Penab Das and invited him to come, and he just came and created an ashram. So from almost day one, it was like constant association.
Wow.
And Reuben, you got the same idea.
Same
you
story.
moved into a caravan right beside where people were living and having regular everyday programs. And
in the winter.
That really is a catalyst that, you can't replace with something else. And that's what it says in the Vedic scriptures, If you read the Bhakti Yoga teachings, it's constantly saying association. And, so we were all serious enough to seek that out and just make it happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come, if you don't want it, you won't get it. And if you want it, even if people have it, if they don't, they go away. They had a perfect situation and they just leave. Oh, I want to go out on my own and do whatever.
And I see that a lot in Tromsø when we run our outreach programs there, where it's like, there are so many people that are getting serious, starting to chant, and we're making, friends with them. They're just like, and then, they leave and go away somewhere else, and you never see them again.
Yeah. I remember living in the ashram. It was 1972 or something like that, and there was a guy who came, and he stayed. He moved. He kind of just stayed there, and he was an artist, and he painted some things in the house on the walls, and he was into it. But then one day he came up and he said, I'm going to go to the mainland, because this was in Hawaii. He said, I'm going to go to the mainland. I said, he called himself Cosmic Dave.
Oh.
And that's how he introduced himself when he came, and that's who he was, Cosmic Dave. And I said, well, Cosmic Dave, this going to be just you over there. It'd be kind of difficult, to not be influenced, in another way that may not be the best. He said, oh, don't worry, I will slay all of that with the sword of knowledge. And he left and never saw him again. I guess his sword didn't work too well. He got defeated somewhere. But it's a given. If you don't have association, you're going to have a really hard time.
Yeah.
And if you're serious, you'll make it happen.
Well,
why did I move to Hawaii? To associate with surfers in the best waves in the world. I made it happen. That's where I'm going to go, and that's what I'm going to do.
Because you knew that was important. If you wanted to learn surfing, if you wanted to do it properly, you needed to be.
I already knew surfing, but I knew this is where you're going to find what you're looking for. In the best situation, and so it's a consciousness that you're trying to gravitate toward. So if it's spiritual consciousness, you need to gravitate toward that.
Right.
And people that don't do that, like you say, in Tromsø or, Cosmic Dave or whoever, you just never see them again.
What makes it? Maybe I could ask you. I don't know if you thought about this, Neil and Bella. What made it for you that you actually decided to do that, and have been since that you decided to, that you okay, this is it. This is really want to do. How did you get serious, and which point did you decide?
I don't know if I can call myself ever being serious, but as soon as I was presented this Vedic teachings and chanting, and I heard our spiritual master speak and him chant, it was a taste there, and I wanted that taste, and that was, I think, how I made, how we made the decisions to move forward, and we wanted to be around people practicing this because we wanted more of this taste, and we want to become a bit like greedy. You want more. You want to taste it more. I think so. That's how it was,
Yeah, it's like we were wandering around in the desert looking for water for all these years, and suddenly we found this oasis, and it's like you don't want to leave the oasis,
You don't want to leave the oasis.
So,
you want to stick around, so you make your decisions accordingly.
Yeah. I guess some people think, they're in the oasis and everything is good, and they just wanna. But how was this desert again? You wanna try it out a little bit.
Well, they're just not ready yet,
Yeah. Well, exactly.
If someone is ready, there's nothing you can do to keep them away, and if they're not ready, there's nothing you can do to keep them there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's why our teaching is just not a conversion teaching, like we're going to convert somebody, you know. It's just like those who come, they will experience that taste. They're going to stay, you know, they're going to, like you kept saying, I want more, you know, and here you are 20 years later and you still want more.
Yeah.
But if a person, you know, has the same experience, but he's not quite ready, so that taste is not what he thinks he's looking for, then he'll go try to find another taste that, oh, well, maybe this will be better and that will be better. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's individual. Yeah. It's completely individual.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
That's again what it states very clearly in Scripture, Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, you know. It's not everybody that's going to be attracted or interested in this. I mean, in fact, it's very rare.
How, just Neil and Bella, how would you see yourself now? Like, would you describe yourself as seekers, or how has that changed for you?
Practitioners.
Like, practitioners.
Yeah. I just want to touch on a point that we were speaking a little bit about earlier when we were talking about us being in India and practicing mystic yoga, meditation and silent meditation, and how when we came back to London where we were living, how it was totally impractical to continue that process. With this process that we're Bhakti Yoga is completely practical. You don't have to like stop living your life in a sense. You know, you just go about your life. It's so easy to add to your life that you're already living. I mean, you change, your consciousness will change, and there will be changes. But it's a practice that you can do every day in your life, whatever you're doing. You know, I go to work, Neil works, we have families, we have friends, and we're out enthusiastic about being outdoors, being active in the outdoors. We do that, and we can still practice Bhakti Yoga and following the teachings in the Vedic scriptures. So it's a very practical.
And you had this inclination, like Balakhilya, I think, does as well, to travel. So now you take that inclination that you were just born with. I mean, just that's what you had, and that's what you can use in your service. You can offer that, and you can apply that, and you can do what the horse whisperer said, right?
Yeah.
Travel around and spread God's love, God's unconditional love.
That's the great thing about this process, is whatever your propensities are, you can dovetail them, you know, like we're into the outdoors, so we, you know, go into the outdoors and we have kirtans, or we bring people with us and we have chants, or we go out there and we bring the ukulele and we film it and, you know, spread it to people. Or some people are into, like, many of our friends are really into making money, you know, they're really kind of business people, and they just love working, they love doing long days, and they love making lots of money, and you know, they do that and they dovetail that, but they use the money in, you know, in God's service, and, you know, supporting outreach programs and etc. So whatever your propensities are, you know, so many people are really creative and artistic, and they can use that, and so it's wonderful. It's, you know, whatever you've got, you can use that in God's service. You know, it's just such a natural process. It kind of, it makes complete sense from every single angle.
Yeah, that's completely true. No matter what you're into, you can use it. You know, the talents you have. So it's been a good journey for all of us, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we'll agree with that. And like you said earlier, Ruben, it's like anybody from any walk of life can take to this process. age groups, young, like we had Chandra on, some time back. He's a young guy, again, another really enthusiastic sport person. And so, he's from that age group. I'm from some completely opposite age group. You guys are kind of in the middle, different countries, different backgrounds, different educational systems, everything, but it just comes together and it's for anybody and everybody. So that's what makes it so universal.
And the change is real, and the change is internal. It's not that you're changing the external, forcibly, or trying to sit on a mountain because you need to change on the inside, but it just comes naturally. Whatever change inside is resulting in maybe some external changes, but it's all coming from an internal change of consciousness. And so.
And the magic is the mantras, They do the work if you allow them to.
Yeah. Yeah. I just said that yesterday at our meditation class, how we describe how the mantras are so potent and the effect. And I just said, but one of the things that have really made me have faith in that is just seeing the personal examples of my friends that have so many different backgrounds and so many different ways it has helped them and changed their lives completely. So it's nice. I can now refer to the podcast and just listen to the different guests that we have and hear their story, and you'll understand a bit more of what we're talking about. And that's another benefit of having association. Like, I always appreciated that when I was traveling more before. Now I'm more like running the outreach scene here. But as I was traveling, I always appreciated that a lot. Just seeing learning from different people and seeing how they apply this process. But do you feel like there's anything you would like to add, Neil or Bala, or anything that you would like anyone who's listening to this to carry with them in their spiritual path forward? That perhaps they are where you were, like, just looking, and what's
What would you say? Have a real go at it. Try it out. I don't know. What do you usually say in your classes, Neil?
This is Balakhilya was saying in the beginning, it's all about being regulated. If you go to the doctor and he gives you some medication, you have a problem, you need to take the medication every day in order to cure the disease or the symptoms or whatever. It's exactly the same in spiritual life. You got to apply the process every single day, and by doing so you'll actually start to experience the benefits, and and taste this wonderful fruit we'll gradually start to taste more and more of this wonderful fruit. So regulation is the key to success. And as Balakhilya said, association as well is vital, so important.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for agreeing to be with us today.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for
a little look
having
into
us.
your life.
Thank you.
Yeah. Time has run past. There's more things we could discuss, but that's how it is.
I know.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Ruben, thank you for always coming on with us.
What do we do now?
Thanks, Slava, your technician, for all setting up.
Oh, man. Yeah. Thank you, Slava.
So, as always...
And thank you, Balakhilya. It's too bad we can't hear or see you.
No, we can't.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I look forward to getting together with you sometime in the future, Ruben. Not sure when that will be or where that will be, but looking forward to it.
Me too. I appreciate you guys a lot.
Ruben, can you still hear me?
I can still hear, but I can still hear you, Balakhilya, so I can transfer the message that you say to Neil and Bella.
Tell them we're going to have kirtan.
Neil and Bella, we're going to have kirtan.
Go.
The Goranga Haribo.
Okay.
So should I chant to them also?
We'll just follow you.
Yeah, follow Ruben. Goranga Haribo. Everybody. Goranga Haribo. Goranga Haribo. Goranga Haribo. Goranga, Goranga Haribo. Haribo, 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 Goranga, Goranga Haribo, Goranga, Goranga Haribo. Haribo, Goranga, Goranga Haribo. Haribo. Goranga Haribo. Haribo. Goranga Haribo. Haribo, Goranga, Goranga Haribo. Haribo, Goranga, Goranga Haribo. body